going to show you back in the video. Today's video of what if it was heroes, neutral versus villains. So this idea was by Enzo. Thank you for your suggestion. And let's begin. So in episode 2, this episode is where James usually gets out. So the challenge to get the animals in the cages. So I think Ashley would be able to win because she's very good with animals and horses. I feel like she was pretty strong in this challenge. And the villains are pretty good, so I think the heroes would lose. Jake, Miriam, and Tom have majority, but I feel like they are friends with Connor. So Tess and Hunter convince Connor that need to vote for one of these three, but Connor's friends with Miriam. And I think these three would vote for Tess, because Tess is the easiest to beat in the tiebreaker. And the other three vote for Miriam, and in that tiebreaker, sorry Miriam, episode 3 is where they have to get the keys on this, the underwater challenge. The only difference in this challenge is Alec isn't throwing to get the Cyan team to lose, so he's still with Fiore. I think this means the neutral team should. I think the heroes would win, and I think Tom and Jake's annoyed at Miriam getting voted off, but I think Tom isn't as annoyed as Jake because he gets it. I think the villains would win, so I think the neutral cast lose. So Aiden, Jake, and Lake, they're a trio, and Ali and Ashley. Now Gret goes to these two and says, if we don't work together, you're next, so we'll prepare for that. So these three would vote for Aiden, and the other three vote for Gret, and in that tiebreaker, sorry Aiden. Episode 4 is the sandbags episode. Alec's not throwing the challenge because Miriam's not on the same team, so he does create the villains alliance, but Gret's the only one that's not on the same team. So I think they would just add Gabby, because if I'm being honest, it doesn't make any sense for them to exclude Gabby here, because it would be really weird that she's the only one not at the meeting. And from a strategical standpoint, I assume that Alec would think it's more better to bring Gabby into the alliance now, and he would still work with Gret. So I think the villains win. So between the neutral and the heroes, I think the heroes will win, because with characters like Hunter and Tom, who are really strong, I think they would do much better than Ali, James, Lake, and Gret. And I think the girls need Gret a bit longer, so basically James and Lake try to convince Gret, and Ali and Ashley try to convince Gret. Gret's going to side with the girls, and they vote off James because he won last season, and he's the best overall player in that alliance that's left. Episode 5. This is where... So how this challenge will work now is, because the neutral team are down a player, I just assume they would have one person that raises at the end. So Hunter and Jake, Gret and Ashley, Ellie and Yule for the biking part of the challenge. And Hunter still falls off his bike like he does in the original, because Hunter does okay, but he does end up falling behind, so there's no reason for that not to happen. I think the cliff part challenge is Ali, Ashley, Tom, Connor, and Alec and Fiore who are going to jump in this challenge. I know in the original timeline Fiore was running at the end, but I think Alec would be more methodical and realistic, to where Fiore's not going to outrun any of these characters. Because in the original timeline, nobody really thought of, hang on, Fiore can't actually run out any of these characters. Like, if I was on the, like, if I were one of the contestants in the Moderna team, and if I was Hunter, I think we'd have Fiore doing something else, like riding a bike or something, because her being at the very end just make a lot of sense to me. Now let me know in the comments how you feel about that. So they all jump off the cliff. Finally, Lake, Tess, Gabby and Rhea are doing the racing part of this challenge. And I'm going to figure out who wins this challenge looking at other episodes. I think Rhea and Gabby would win because they're very fast and quite a jack of all trades. So between Tess and Lake, I think out of these two, I think Tess. Like, I'm gonna say Lake could probably beat Tess, as she made it merge. Like, she was pretty good in that episode with Hunter. Her and Hunter did pretty well in that episode. And I think Lake is just a faster person than Tess. So I think Tess loses the challenge. And Tom and Jake are voting for Hunter. And Hunter and Tess are voting for Jake. Now, I think Connor feels a bit guilty, so they convince Connor to vote off Hunter, like in the original, because they realise that if it comes down to a tiebreaker, Tess will be much easier beating a tie. So I think the two get everyone votes off Tess for failing the challenge here. So Tess is out. Episode 6 is where they have to do the singing episode. Connor still loses, and this is a big one because Miriam isn't here. The Villains Alliance isn't exposed as actually able to work together and keep it a secret for a while at least. Hunter Yule originally also was the reason that his team lost, but now that Connor and Hunter are Yule on different teams. And this causes a bit of a problem because I now think the huge team definitely won the challenge. And Connor was the big reason that they lost in the original. So I think the villains would win, and they just vote off Connor. Now, it seems like Connor's a very easy vote. When I actually watched the episode, I think Hunter's a smart player, and he realizes that Tom and Jake are a couple, and if they get to the end, they're going to be a bit of a threat. So he goes to Connor and says, hey, vote Jake with me in a tiebreaker. I think these two would vote for Connor, and in that tiebreaker, I think Jake's out. Episode 7 is... So this is the Borders episode, and the defenders are Tom and Hunter, the attacker is Connor. Neutral, we have attackers Ashley and then the rest of the defenders. Alec, I think Gabby and Ellie would be the attackers, with the rest being defenders. Now, I think Alec and Fury is made up at this point. And I think at this point, the guys are winning here. The heroes definitely win the challenge. And Fury was the reason that their team lost in the original. So I kind of think the same would happen again. Fury just isn't that well, and she keeps getting knocked over. Pretty unfairly, sadly, and I think the villains lose for the first time. Now, it seems like it's obviously Fury, but I think when you're actually watching this episode, I think Alec would get Fury to vote for Rhea. Ellie and Gabby, he'd ask them, saying, hey, look, I know we don't like each other, but we need to get rid of Rhea. She made her finale before, she's the only one here besides Ellie. And he knows that Ellie and Gabby are a couple, and even though they're a couple, he knows that Rhea's more of a threat. It doesn't matter what you does here. I probably think you would vote for Rhea. I think Rhea gets removed after this challenge. Episode 8 is where we have... This is where they have to go in the spaceship and fight each other. So I think who fought in the pit is random, and I think it's going to be Alec, Hunter, and I'm going to say it's Ashley, the strongest people on their team. Now, I think Alec would win because Alec would do a very similar strategy to Rhea. So between Hunter and Ashley, It's very hard to say because we never actually see them facing each other. Now, I do give the edge to Hunter because I do think Hunter is faster. On top of the fact I think he's stronger than Ashley. So I think the girls vote off Gret here, which unfortunately for Gret, she can't be saved. Episode 9, Slip and Slide. Hunter, Ashley, Alec. I think Alec wins. Connor, Lake, and Ellie. I think Connor wins that challenge. Tom, Ashley, and Gabby. I think Tom wins. So that's one for each team. They have to go again, and I think Hunter would do it. I think Yule, and I think Lake. I think Hunter wins. Ashley, Tom, and Fury. I think Fury would lose. I think the heroes would win the challenge. And the villains have majority, and I think they would choose to get rid of Ashley. Ashley, because they would verify Ashley as the biggest threat that's not immune. Tom and Hunter are immune. That aside, I think they would choose to get rid of Ashley here. So I think Ashley is eliminated after this challenge. So it's merge day. This is our merge cast. And we have some differences. So on the heroes we have Hunter, Tom, and Connor. Neutral we have Lake and Ellie, and then we have the villains Yule, Fury, Alec, Ellie, and Gabby. Episode 10 rolls around, and this is where they have to do this is the episode where they have to get the flag. Now, Alec would still win the challenge. And I think everyone would just vote off Fury. And the other 5 would vote for Lake. It doesn't really matter because Fury's losing that tiebreaker. Episode 11, Fury still would return because Connor's still. So I think Alec would bring her back and he'd win Mini. The only new characters here are Hunter and Lake, and I don't see them doing that well in this challenge. Hunter would do decent, but I think Alec, Ellie, and Gabby could just easily sabotage him, so I think Fury comes back even though she just got eliminated. Episode 12 is Superhero. It's Hungry Like a Wolf, and so I forgot episode 10 is. I'm sorry, I was saying the wrong episode. This is the pinball one. Paintball one, and I think Hunter wins the challenge. Like, even if Alec wins the challenge, I think everyone's going to laugh Fury because she's the best overall player in challenges. She's the biggest threat, and they might not get another chance, so they put her off. And Fury comes back because Alec would win the challenge, and she just got eliminated, but she returns again. Episode 12. I think the winner of the flag challenge is Hunter. So Hunter has immunity. So it seems like Hunter, Allie, Lake, Connor, the hero, is going to vote for Yule. Alec, Yule, Fury, Gabby would vote for Lake. So in the tiebreaker is the same tiebreaker that appeared in episode 12 of the original series, and I think Alec will get Yule to do a double knot, so I think Lake's going home. Episode 13 is the Superhero Challenge. I think Alex still gets nothing. Fury doesn't that well. Ellie and Gabby fall. And Yule. Hunter and Ellie are probably arguing. Tom, I think Connor would win the challenge so easily because he did the best outside of. Well, I think Gabby and Ellie won the challenge because they did the best outside of Jake and Aiden, and they're not there now, so Ellie and Gabby win the challenge. So the villains have majority, and they're not going to betray each other yet because they realise that they need to keep each other around. I think they're going to vote off Hunter, who's the biggest threat that's not immune. So these four did vote for Alec. It doesn't really matter. I think Fury hunts out. Episode 14 is the TikToks challenge. So it's Alec and Fury, Tom and Gabby, Connor and Yule, which leaves Ellie and Fury and Connor, Ellie and Alec, Tom and Gabby, which leaves Ellie and Yule. So I think Yule and Ellie would do good, and they would still show Alec and Connor, because they're the only pair that's here. So it's Fury and Yule, Ellie and Tom, Gabby and Ellie, Tom and Ali. Now, I think Ali wouldn't leave Tom still at the watch, and he'd be able to outrun whatever it was. I think it was a person that was chasing him, unlike Jake. I think Gabby would help Fury and Alec, although they have to do the TikToks with Yule. And I think Gabby and Ellie would do the worst in the challenge because these two stuck at the watch. These two got back fine the original series if that happened, and Yule's pretty good on his social media, so I think they would be able to get back faster than the others. And Gabby still throws in her own phone, so I think it's an automatic elimination for Gabby here. Episode 15. Weight off your shoulders. So the only person here is Ali and Tom. Tom's the only person here in the original that wasn't here in the original. Tom's pretty honest. I'm pretty sure. So I do think Tom could win the challenge here. So I think Tom has immunity. Now, Alec, Yule, Fury, and Ellie would work together for a bit longer, and I think they get rid of Ellie, who they verify is the biggest threat. Because Connor's not really a threat to them. I think Tom's immune that aside, that Ellie's the best overall player in challenges. Like, she's very good at gaming, and she's been shown to be pretty good at like puzzle challenges, so I think Alec would get the villains to vote her off. Episode 16. So Alec and Connor originally find the idols. So I think Alex still. I think the no. Who finds the idol? So I'm gonna say Alec and Tom find the idol, and I think Alec would win this challenge because he's very good at puzzles. And I think these four vote off Connor. And Connor has the immediate idol. So Connor and Tom's vote's the one that counts. Now, I think they vote off Ellie here. Now, hear me out on this theory, because you would think it's Fury, right? You would think Fury is the one that goes, but the thing is, Fury's not really a threat to them at this point. Fury's not really a threat. Alec and Fury are pretty close. So I think they get rid of Fury, because Fury's the best overall player. Like, Alec's immune to that aside. Fury's the closest to Alec. She's been quite a threat for some time. I think Yule and Ellie are physically better than Gabby. Than Ellie, but I think they vote of Connor here. Connor uses his idol and gets rid of Fury. Episode 17. This is riding the horses, and I think the villains are starting to kind of betray each other, so I think Connor wins the challenge. And I think Ellie and Yule and Alec don't want to work together. I think Alec is considering to betray Yule with Ellie, and they've kind of made up. But I think as much as they don't like each other, I think they agree that Tom has to go here, because he's the best overall player in challenges, he's the biggest threat, it's not immune. So I think Tom goes. Episode 18, State of Shock. And Connor is very good. Alec would be very good at this challenge because it's a maze, so it's like a puzzle. Yule does pretty bad, and I don't think Ellie would do that well here. So I think Alec wins the challenge, but I think him and Connor have actually bonded in this episode. And like they did in their original team, I think Connor and Alec vote Yule. I think Ellie goes with them together to Yule because Connor's not really a threat to them. The villains just fought off Connor, so it's a shame because I do like Alec and Connor's friendship. And I feel like Alec and Connor have kind of bonded throughout the day, right? And I think the villains want to get rid of Yule, and I think Ellie just goes with Yule because Alec would think it's easier to convince Ellie to vote for Yule than you would vote for Ellie, so Yule votes Connor. Alec votes Yule, Ellie votes Connor. Connor votes Yule, so that's one Yule. These two vote Connor. And Ellie votes Connor, Alec votes Connor. Because they're not as close in this timeline. So episode 19 is The Helpers. It's Fury for Alec, Yule is Gret, and Ellie is Gabby. Now the only difference here is Yule hasn't broken up with Gret because she hasn't stood up to him in this episode. So that's why it's the mining episode, and I think Alec would win. So between Ellie and Yule, I think Yule gets eliminated because I think Ellie and Gabby will be much better team than Yule and Gret. So Alec and Ellie are in the finale. And they have to fight each other. I think it's Connor, Tom for Alec, Ellie it's Jake, and I think it's like they each get winning endings, and I think the winner would be Alec. But that's it for this video. If you prefer though, Ellie could be a better option to win if you wanted Ellie to win. But I love Ellie and Alex, so I'm gonna keep them as that. Thank you guys for watching. This thing was trying to would have gone. If it was heroes, villains, and neutral were a team. And yeah, peace forever.